last couple of weeks. Man, I went on a golf trip earlier this year to Prince Edward Island, just north of Halifax and Nova Scotia. It's its own little province, and those people got absolutely destroyed by Fiona. So it's really been crazy. If anything occurs, we will keep our eye on that. Cardinals winners last night. St. Louis wins JMO their fifth divisional title in the Central in 10 years. That's impressive, but maybe not as impressive as the Yankees, who also clinched last night with a win over Toronto. Aaron Judge walked 4 times. The Toronto fans were booing their own pitching staff. They were all hoping to see 61 and 62. They didn't see anything, but he scored a couple of times in their win. They clinch. That's the 20th division that they have clinched. That is the most in history since divisional play started.
I got to be honest, the Yankees celebration looked a little bit more fun than the Cardinals celebration, but I'm sure just as jovial on both ends of the spectrum.
I think the Cardinals are just saying, 5 times in 10 years, that's not what we're after.
Just another day.
We want the NLCS, and then we want to win the World Series. We don't celebrate divisional titles, especially when it's the lowly Milwaukee Brewers, Chicago Cubs, Pittsburgh Pirates, and Cincinnati Reds in our division. I mean, we should win every year because those others stink.
There was a day game at Pittsburgh the other day, maybe had 15 people in the crowd.
Speaking of such, and I hate to rip on a city that's about to get blasted by Ian, but a good friend of mine who is a huge Houston Astros fan, actually lives in Dallas, but is an Astros fan, he decided to visit a relative and make a trip. He was going to come through Memphis for his 30th reunion of Christian Brothers. And so he went to visit an uncle that lives in Tampa and went to St. Petersburg to see the Astros and the Rays. He sent out pictures, a little video clip of the ballpark. I'm telling you, 2 playoff teams, the Astros and the Rays, playing one another in the Dome in St. Petersburg. There weren't but 3,000 people there.
It's like a minor league draw.
It was like and this is 2 playoff teams. Not in the middle of the week, and that's, boy, is that ever disappointing. That is for sure. We got a busy show. In a little bit, coming up in about 5 minutes or so, Mickey Barker's going to join us, the head of Memphis Golf. We'll revisit the President's Cup a little bit, and then we'll talk about what the plans are with City Golf, because they got a lot, and also some programs that are coming your way you might be interested in the month of October. The showdown, I can't believe it's an 11 o'clock game. But Kentucky and Ole Miss this week, there's a lot of good games. Tennessee is off, second best in the East, but they got Alabama. Arkansas A&M is playing. It's a good game. It skips my. Trying to remember.
It's at Mississippi State, right?
Is that A&M at Mississippi State? That's so. A really good game, yeah. So we will talk with Stats about that. That comes your way 10:25. And then Jason Munns, the Tigers basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, will join us on the incredible announcement yesterday by the IARP that Memphis got nothing, a slap on the wrist. I will say this. When we were on the air, we never got to see the Zoom thing. But some of the things that they said, which totally exonerated Penny Hardaway, were unbelievable. And I think Jason Munns is going to touch on this because I know his belief is, had this not gone to the IARP, would Memphis have gotten away with losing all 4 of the level 1 charges? Because they got charged with, I think they were cleared on every one of those counts. And we learned Penny didn't even know the first game he played, James Wiseman, he was ineligible. This all pointed fingers at leadership other than Penny. And I've never seen this, but part of the exoneration of Penny was that Penny had been a philanthropist and given money to a lot of people for a long time before he ever gave James Wiseman's mother the money. And all you got to do is look at simple logic to know they never had a case on Penny. He wasn't the coach of Memphis, didn't know he was going to be the coach of Memphis when he paid Mrs. Wiseman the money to move to Memphis so his kid her kid could go to East. It's the craziest thing, but they never had a case. In my mind, it's clear that they realized when they made this announcement of penalties, which are really nothing, that they never had a case. In the meantime, you know what we start with on Wednesdays until baseball's over, then it goes to Tuesdays. And that is the inane thing that people in the NFL, coaches and players, they tend to say. It's brought to you in part by Family Leisure. I'm sitting in the studios, up to 30% off in stock spas. You know it's the biggest spa sale in history. We're talking huge discounts even on the swim spas, special financing available. All you've got to do is get to I-40 and Whidden Road. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together. Our title sponsor is Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. We start right there with Hyundai. Best product I think there's out there. And then the luxury side of it is Genesis. And then you're dealing with people that never charge you over sticker price. In fact, right now, $500 off sticker price on Santa Fe's and Tucson's with a financing arrangement that I think you will find very, very pleasing. All you got to do is get to Highway 78, that's Lamar in Memphis, and the very first exit in Mississippi, that's Craft Road. Turn left and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai. They are our title sponsors. We start with Mike McDaniel. We'll end with Nick Sirianni. You got about 2.5 minutes of the crazy, inane things players and coaches say after a week of NFL play.
I need a nap.
What are some of the situational things, some of the factors you're considering when you're deciding whether or not to go for two in that spot?
The score and the time left in the game.
Winning is our business, and we didn't handle business.
You want, as a head coach, to get in the locker room, to get up here and say the same thing, win or lose.
I'm not in this to answer anybody's questions.
I wasn't looking to be encouraged. I was looking to win the game.
It took a lot of grit. That's what those Southern grandmothers make on Sundays. Grits, you know, it was gritty.
We got dogs in our room, bro.
Go through the same process, dog mentality.
We went in this game as coaches saying we were gonna let it rip.
I really enjoy number two.
Don't get frazzled by it. Now, I told him it should sting, you know, it shouldn't taste good.
Just have better execution. Don't shoot ourselves in the foot.
Talent had nothing to do with the way we shot ourselves in the foot.
We can't shoot ourselves in the foot.
I'm shooting ourselves in the foot.
We just can't shoot ourselves in the foot.
We shot ourselves in the foot.
When we shoot ourselves in the foot, that limits us.
As the late great Clarence Brooks said, this game is, always has been, and always will be about the players.
Listen, we only get one. We get one day, and then we get another day, and then another day.
We talk about the coin toss and what we're going to do every week.
I think every game stands on its own 2 feet.
Every win's a must-win in this league.
There's no, ribbons for second place, and they know it.
I see much better than I hear.
It looks can be very deceiving.
There is no better than adversity. Every defeat, every heartbreak, every loss contains its own seed, its own lesson on how to improve your performance next time, all right? It's Malcolm X.
You just have to continue working, put your head down. Adversity is only going to be, one snap away in this league for you individually, collectively, per side of the ball, and you just got to meet the moment.
I've probably read too many CIA fiction thrillers, maybe too many Brad Thor books, something. So I'm looking up, and they're telling me to get over the sideline, and there's a drone.
In the end, it's just about having one more point than the other team. Whatever it takes, and it just takes what it takes.
There is no style points in this league.
You never want to finish where you start.
That third category, the we fence, as we call it.
I could turn a 40-yard gain into 18 better than anyone in the NFL.
Sometimes in baseball, you swing and miss and maybe hit a hard line drive and they catch it.
We're kind of playing a chess match back and forth.
It felt like a heavyweight fight.
Sometimes you play basketball, sometimes you play baseball, obviously football. We knew it was going to be a slugfest versus this team.
It felt like a heavyweight fight.
We compare this to a 17-round heavyweight boxing match that you go down and you sit in your corner after each round. And if you think you're too good after that round, this league has a very good, does a good job of smacking you in the teeth if you do that.
That is Nick Sirianni. I was impressed. Arthur Smith is the well-read guy. CIA action thrillers, Brett Thor books. He was telling us something that is for sure. There was a good shootout there between Todd Bowles and Jameis Winston as to who can shoot themselves in the foot more. Good stuff from J-Mo after a good week. And again, the thing that impresses me the most about the NFL through 48 games, 18 have been decided by 3 points or less. And this is incredible, 3 weeks, only 2 undefeated teams, the Miami Dolphins and the Philadelphia Eagles. This portion of the show is brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. You know they're famous for their tune-ups. That's 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up, which gets your system efficient, which saves you money on your MLGW bill and also adds to the life of your system. Right now, it's cold enough where you can feel fall is here. Early bird on your heating system with a carbon monoxide check, usually $69. The early bird beautiful discount is $20 off, down to $49. You got to take advantage. Call 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Mickey Barker joins us now. It's been a busy period of time for Memphis City Golf. You got Overton Park opened earlier this year. You're getting ready to open up Pine Hill, but we're getting ready to close Audubon. This must be the craziest time you've had in all the years you've been the head of Memphis Golf. Good morning.
Good morning, Dave. Thanks for having me on. Absolutely, yes. It is quite the crazy time. It's exciting. It's fabulous. With the opening of Overton and Pine Hill getting the ready to open in the spring and Audubon closing down, it's really, really exciting time.
Yeah. I got to ask you about the new Pine Hill. Some people were hoping it was going to open in the fall. I've seen some pictures. First of all, there's lakes there. That was pretty astounding because I knew that there had been creeks. I'd never seen a lake, I don't think, on Pine Hill. What's going on there, and is there any chance it opens this fall?
No, really no chance. Part of the golf course, at least 9 holes would be ready to go. But the clubhouse construction has just begun, which we moved from the northern part of the golf course up off of Alice Avenue. We've moved it down to Mallory, which will, you'll be able to get off of 240, make one turn, and you're in the parking lot. And that construction has just begun. So we really don't have a place to operate out of this fall. It will be much more ready to go, probably operate out of a temporary for a few weeks until we get the clubhouse completed. But we do have a couple lakes built on the golf course, really integral part of the golf course now, have some forced carries over water, have a big bulkhead like at Galloway, if you're familiar with number 7, much bigger. It'll have 2 greens fronted with that, number 9 and number 18. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
My favorite hole at Pine Hill, it's a hard one. And there's a bunch I like. I like 10. I know that's changing. What are you doing with number 7, which has been, I think, one of the classic par 4s in the city?
It is. It's still, that hole is in the same place now. It will become the new number 10, and it will actually become a par 5.
Ooh.
We're going to stretch it back out over 500 yards. The big hitters will hit it into that hill that you're familiar with in the middle of the fairway between the 2 trees. So it's going to limit the rollout. So it's going to make just a really, really good par 5.
2 lakes I know are coming into play. I think there's going to be 3 lakes in the new Audubon. These things are so good. The city has decided to invest in Memphis golf. That is a great thing. I don't know if you're allowed to say this, but I'm going to ask anyway because people ask me all the time. How much money is the city investing in city golf between Overton Park, which I think was more a private sector thing, to the redo of Pine Hill, the redo of Audubon, and the new stuff that you've just put in at Fox Meadows? What's the price tag?
Well, all of this is part of the Accelerate Memphis, with the exception of Overton, which was private funds that Overton Park Conservancy has gone out and raised, and the city included some money, for the irrigation system and different items there. But all in all, most of the money for the renovations is coming from the mayor's Accelerate Memphis program, which Parks received $75 million of that. for community centers and park enhancements and improvements. And the golf was able to get, 3 or 4 million from that. All in all, by the time we're finished in 2023, end of 2023, I think we'll be between 15 and 20 million in golf.
That's incredible.
It's a major investment.
And Accelerate Memphis, refresh my memory, is that part of the federal government's infrastructure stuff from PPE?
Correct.
Okay. So we've seen it put to good use by the city of Memphis. There's no question about that. I guess some of that is also going to the new riverfront that I know it's going to be a little later in coming than maybe Memphis and May would have liked, but I think it's going to be spectacular when it is completed. I know you've got some programs coming up in the next few weeks, all through October, that people would be interested in hearing about, maybe will participate in.
Right, we're excited about what we've got. Some new event, one new event especially coming up, which will be the Mid-South Putting Championship, or some folks are calling it the Mid-South Flat Stick Championship. It's going to be held at Overton Park 9, OP 9.
I love it.
We're gonna have it's going to be a 9-hole putting event. We'll have one hole set up on each of the 9 greens. So you'll go around just like a tee times for any other tournament. You'll have your group. You'll go from hole to hole, and but it'll just be a putting contest.
So you
and
start.
It will be very difficult. Yes.
Everybody starts at the same position on each green, and what do? You add up your total score of putts.
That's correct. Yeah.
Wow.
You go to the first hole and you make a 2. You go to the next one, you make a 1, and so forth. And par will be. Each hole will be a par 2, basically. So you're looking at par of 18, which on those greens, if you could get around the 9 holes in 18 strokes, you'd be doing very, very well.
Wow.
It's going to be open. It's going to be open to everyone: amateurs, juniors, seniors, golf professionals, anybody that wants to come and give it a try. It's going to be open to everybody.
Give me your prediction on the winning score.
I think it will be a 2 or 3 over par, 19, 20, 21, somewhere in there.
So you're going to set this thing up ridiculous, aren't you?
It is. It's not going to be hard to set it up difficultly because of the shape of the green.
Right.
The greens have really picked up in pace just because the grass is not growing as much. We haven't lowered the height of cut, but the nights are getting longer, so the grass is just not growing as much. It doesn't have as much juice in it, so the greens are getting very, very quick. We've had some high school and junior high matches out there, and some of the pins have been difficult to say the least. And so we're getting a taste of what Overton can really be.
When is that putting thing going to be?
That will be October 21st. It'll be Friday. Currently, we have it set up to have tee times run from 12 p.m. until 5 p.m. If we get more players, then we'll back it up to earlier in the day.
Beautiful.
So we'll have the big 80-inch big screen scoreboard out there comes on a trailer. Not 80 inch, it's bigger than that. It's the size of a trailer. Has to be pulled by truck.
Wow.
So it'll be out there for scoring. We'll have food options and just be a lot of fun.
Oh wow! All right. Anything else?
Then we've also coming up next weekend. We've got the Hillman Robins Cup, which is a cup matches, Ryder Cup style or President's Cup. Everybody's familiar with that since it just happened last week. And it's going to be local golf professionals, Tennessee PGA golf professionals from the West Tennessee area. 12 golf professionals taking on 12 amateurs that are coming from the points list from all of our city tournaments over the past year.
And you're playing that at Galloway and where else?
Both days will be at Galloway. It's called the Hillman Robins Cup, after Hillman Robins, who was a golf professional there for a long time at Galloway. Hillman's son, Rick, is the amateur team captain, and he also plays on it as well. So it's a lot of fun. The amateurs have kind of have beat us up pretty good the last couple of years, and so we're hoping as golf professionals get a little bit of revenge this year.
That will be fun. And that's open to the public to come watch, right?
Yeah, we'd love to have people come out. It starts at 12 on Friday, and then 11:30 on Saturday.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Since you brought up the Ryder Cup format, of course, it was the President Cup. And, two things that strike me. One, 17.5, 12.5, sort of expected the Americans had a much higher rated team. But it all was about, honestly, the beginning. I believe the Americans led 11-2. So if you look at the final score, really and truly, the international team came on. They just fell behind to a point where they could not catch up. And I was just amazed at the level of play from all these guys on a very hard golf course.
It was amazing. Yeah, the first 2 days pretty much did the internationals in. They were so far behind, and for the most part, it was a split for over the weekend. I think it ended up 11.5 to 9.5 or 10.5 to 9.5 over the weekend. So it was, pretty much a draw. But they did themselves in the first 2 day matches.
He is Mickey Barker. He's going to be part of our picking contest. He signed a lifetime contract with us earlier this year. We appreciate it, Mickey. And again, next weekend at Galloway, noon on Friday, 11:30. If you want to watch some really good play, the pros against the amateurs from around the city, and then this great putting contest at Overton. Anybody can be a part of that. 12 to 5 on October the 25th, a Friday. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Mickey Barker. We got some games to talk about with Brett Norsworthy here in a second. And if you love the juice from games, and there's many of you, we got a lot of options. I think I got the best one. It's BetUS.com. 28 years as a part of the NFL. They got NBA. They got MLB, but they got more. They got the coolest European slots, live dealers waiting for you at tables. They've got MMA. They got golf. You can bet on anything with BetUS. They got the best sign-up bonus of 200%. And if you want integrity and trust, right, 28 years tells you they will pay when you win. All you got to do is sign up at either BetUS.com or 1-800-79-BETUS. But you got to use the code. The promo code is very simple. Sports56 Radio. Sports56 Radio. That's BetUS, where the game begins. We will chat with our good friend Brett Norsworthy in just a minute. This is Wolo and Friends.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat is ready with Power Days deals on Covington Pike. It's time to make all your wishes come true, so come by, pick out your ride, and Gossett will get it ordered just for you. At Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, you'll get exactly what you want and at the price you want. No hassle, no extra charges, no market adjustments. You will not pay more than MSRP at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Plus, you can take your pick from 22 Jeep Cherokee Latitude 4x4 or 22 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman 4x2. Now $519 a month. Get it while the getting's great at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett on the Pike, or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.5% APR, 3,500 down. Cherokee, ND 522,552, MSRP 38,785. Ram, NS 171,35, MSRP 39,745. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Lonely feeling deep inside. Find a corner.
Welcome in, boy. It does feel like fall. You know what happens in fall with Dinstall's? Simple. You get caramel apples. I love the caramel corn too, but the caramel apples, you got choice now. You can just do caramel on your apple. You can do it with pecans. You can do it with pecan, caramel, and chocolate. That's the turtlet. And now they got a new one where you can actually do cashew crunch on your caramel apple. Wow. What a combination. And 5 places to get it. And they've been around for 120 years. They just keep getting better and better and better. You can get it where they make it. That's Pleasant View. We got downtown. That's becoming a bigger store. That's so cute. Go see it. And then there's Collierville, Germantown, and Laurelwood, where I'm at. What a combination. 5 different places to get the candy of this region. That is Dinstall's. It was sweet yesterday. Brett Norsworthy, and you listen to Stats every day with Gabe on Sports Time on Sports 56, 3 to 6. Your first thought, your first take when you saw at 9 o'clock when it was released that Memphis didn't even get a slap on the wrist. They got nothing.
Got nothing, Dave. Liberation, and really happy for Tiger fans and Tiger administrators, namely Laird Veach, who really his entire tenure had been haunted by this, the cloud over his program, and also for Penny Hardaway to be absolved, full vindication. Because, Dave, Penny Hardaway is a lot of things, and it's mostly good things. Cheater and cutting corners has never been the MO on Penny Hardaway ever, and we both have known him or known of him since he was about 15 or 16 years old, and for him to have to kind of be able to burnish that, to be able to fully be able now to coach his program, and now it's about what it should be about: selling tickets, winning ball games, selling tickets.
The shadow is off of his program. I feel bad for him because, he got a label from all of this. He probably lost some recruits for all of this. The university got a bad national sort of brand because of all this, and they never had a case. That to me, when you listen to what the guys said, they never had a case. That's the most
fishing
interesting.
expedition.
Yeah. Crazy. We're going to talk more about that with Jason Munz in our final segment of the show. Because I miss talking with you about baseball, and we used to do that a bunch in 3 to 6. I'm sure you still do with Gabe, but I got to congratulate you. Cardinals win their 5th divisional National League Central title in the last 10 years. Hard one for you. Is that because of the Cardinal way and them being so good, or is it because the Cubs, the Pirates, the Reds, and the Brewers stink?
I think it's the latter, Dave. It was easy to pick the Cardinals to win the Central this year, and now they have. That was kind of the opening bid for them. And so far, the teams that either have an X or a Y or a Z by their names for making the postseason in some way, as division winner or at least as wild card, maybe even home field advantage like the Dodgers. What's the big surprise about St. Louis, the Braves, the Mets, and the Dodgers? 4 of the National League 6, they're already in. We knew that the day the baseball labor issue was resolved, and we knew we would have a season. In the American League, you see Yankees and Houston that they've already wrapped it up. No shocker there. The only real shocker from any predictions in the preseason has been Terry Francona's Cleveland team.
Yeah.
And I had them 5th in that division. I turned it around and I got it right. Turned it upside down and I get it right. So all these teams, even some getting ready to crack into the playoffs, except for maybe Seattle, everybody thought they would be in it in the preseason. I had the Phillies in the preseason. A lot of people had the Padres. I didn't, but a lot did, and especially with the deals they made around trade deadline time. So now the real season begins, and it begins in a new style with 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5, with every game out of that 2 out of 3 being played in the better seeded ballpark. There will be no travel in that first round. So those teams have to capitalize on that, and then they go to the divisional series and would all have to travel to either the 1 or the 2, and then that's 3 out of 5. And that's when it gets going. That's when you get to see the real mark of a good team, teams that can do it all, starting pitching, relief pitching, holding in the 6th and 7th inning, closing in the 8th and 9th, and you got to hit. Dave, I think in this postseason, just follow this nugget. The team that hits the most home run in these series will win the series.
Wow. Huh. Okay.
You got to bop it.
That's a little like your running yards prediction on games. So now it's home runs. I like it. I'm going to definitely.
And it's got to fly out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
You don't need any gap or doubles. You got to go up there and bop it. You got to hit more home runs than the other team hits.
That's the new game. That is for sure. John Thompson earlier this week on this show said Georgia is the new Alabama. Is that true?
They are. They defeated Alabama. That should have been enough to kind of transfer the crown to them, but it didn't seem like it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for SEC media days, voters, off-season magazines, and everything leading into the promotion of college football. But the opening day rout over Oregon, look where Oregon is now. And that should tell you something. You look where Oregon ranks and where Georgia's ranked. Is there that big a gulf between those ranked teams? It probably is. But Georgia had a little bit of hiccup against Kent State. Kirby Smart loved everything that happened last week in Athens. He loved only winning by 17. He loved some of the shortcomings in his team.
Sure.
And some of maybe the deficiencies showed. He loved that. And that's the Alabama way that they've adopted. Now he's got 3 straight weeks, so I think really easy games, Missouri, Auburn, and Vanderbilt, then open date, then cocktail party in Tennessee, and they'll cruise right into the first weekend in Atlanta like they did last year. And then that will probably be Bama, Georgia, part 3, really over these last 12 months.
Missouri and Auburn, you mentioned them. Will they have new coaches next year?
Auburn would have had a new coach last Saturday afternoon if they had lost to Missouri, and they almost did and probably should have in a game that set the SEC and college football back. You see 17-14 in overtime, and you go, that had to be pretty good. Oh, no. That was – I mean, the international tribunals won't let you do prisoners of war like that, making them watch those kind of games. It was awful football. Missouri kept handing it back to Auburn. Auburn finally took it in the end. And I say that in one of my pet peeves this week, Dave. I just did it to Auburn. I just did something that's starting to bug me. It happened to the Tigers over North Texas, happened to A&M over Arkansas, happened to Bama a few weeks ago against Texas. Winning doesn't feel like it's enough for a lot of people. You got to have the style points, and I think you have to cover the point spread. And I think you have to win in kind of a glowing style for people to really give you the mark of victory. Tennessee beat Florida, but you hear a lot of people going, yeah, but it wasn't stylistic enough. It wasn't big enough for Tennessee to get a win over Florida. If it's by 1, it's enough, and it sure was enough by by 5, 38, 33. And I'm getting a little aggravated that winning's not enough for a lot of people.
Well, I'm hoping that Memphis had their stinker game. I believe that a team's going to have a stinker game once a year, and you hope you don't lose it. That's what I'm hoping for the Tigers.
If you stinker games when you score 44, then maybe I want to stink more often.
Well, and some people, thought that Ole Miss would beat Tulsa by more. Tulsa's always got good line play.
Well, Vegas sure did.
Yeah.
Vegas sure did. And Dave, I'm here to say Ole Miss played well Saturday. It was 1 turnover, no interceptions. Ole Miss played really solid against a good team that they could not get clearance from. Tulsa was able to answer. Tulsa went up 14-7, first time Ole Miss has trailed all year, and Tulsa did that most of the game without with a backup quarterback. Davis Brin got hurt early, and he threw some that you could hang on clotheslines. Man, it was just beautiful throws. The backup came in and went Dante Culpepper on us. I mean, he looked great. Tulsa was physical. They were very well coached. I thought that was a good Ole Miss win by 8 points. Okay, it didn't get to the 21 or 22 that Vegas said, but I said it pregame last Saturday, Dave. I promise you. I said it at 6 minutes after 1 o'clock last week. These games aren't played in Las Vegas.
No. And they forget Tulsa's been a pretty decent team as a group of 5 program for a long, long time. And their coach plays physical ball. And, Ole Miss might not have seen much of that kind of physical ball up until then.
They hadn't, Dave. They just had not. I mean, Troy was pretty good, and you see Troy kind of holding up as their September ended up unfolding. But Central Arkansas was outmatched, and Georgia Tech was outmatched. Ole Miss needed that last week. Now it sets up 7 versus 14. And just, when was the last time Ole Miss and Kentucky played in a football game that mattered this much? But both of them have the same questions around them. Everybody to either one of these teams are saying, well, show me. And the winner of this game will still get next week, show me.
The winner of this game gets to be number in the top 10, right? I mean, because Kentucky's there now. There. Right. But if Ole Miss,
I think Ole Miss would probably flip-flop with them. They'd probably crack that top 10, get close to that spot, and it's according to what the attrition in the polls doesn't. And I always go by the AP poll. I know in the coaches poll, Ole Miss is ranked a little better, but I go by the AP poll, the oldest news gathering body in the United States. That's the one I go by. In that one, Kentucky 7 and Ole Miss is 14. But we're going to see. We're going to learn a lot about both teams. We're going to learn a lot about Will Levis on the Kentucky side. We're going to learn a lot about Jackson Dart on the Ole Miss side.
I am confused, so you can help me out. 7 versus 14. We're both in agreement there. Atmosphere, sellout, going to be great at the Vaught. Why is this?
It needs to be.
Why is this an 11 o'clock game?
Dave, I got a lot of different answers from from people I trust. I think this was in reserve potentially for game day. Now, when Clemson took care of Wake Forest in overtime and NC State got their win, that made sense for that to be the national ABC game. And look, jet fuel's not free, and Kirk Herbstreit needs sleep as well. So if he can do a game day show at one place and stay there all day and then do the night game, that helps him. Arkansas and Alabama were going to be game day, and they are the 2:30 CBS game. From what I was told, ESPN kind of wanted to build the day around strong numbers coming out of game day right to this and build into their afternoon programming. You know how it is. Sometimes it's kind of a roulette wheel with things, and you have to make decisions before you know all the results.
You mentioned Alabama, Arkansas, which is the CBS game. That's number 2 against number 20. Number 2 has a 17.5 point line they got to give away. I don't know. I kind of feel like Arkansas will play inside of that, but you never know because Alabama is always so tough. What do you think happens in that one?
Well, I think Alabama will win the game, and I think Arkansas was very deflated with that heartbreaking loss to A&M.
Well, they should have
I'm going to do what I just said I was mad about. That was the first time Sam Pittman has lost a game at Arkansas. He probably had the better team. They outrushed them. They outpassed them. But that one big flip the field, flip the momentum, change the building turnover, and then the crazy carom on the kick. And that was after the botched snap on the play before that moved it back a little more. And you saw the emotional reaction to the center for Arkansas over that snap. But Alabama on the road, Bryce Young has had 5 true road starts as Bama quarterback. 4 of those games were decided by 3 points or less. He's only won one time on a real road game. I'm not talking about it to Georgia Dome or anything like that, or even a bowl setting. Real road setting. The other team is rabid against you. He's won big on one time. That was in Starkville last year. Everything else has been kind of getting down to the end, and him being the magic man that he is. And it could be the same way Saturday with a narrow escape at Fayetteville.
I'm with you. Last game, A&M ranked 17. I'm not sure why. Stayed at home. State's actually the favorite in this game. I am still shocked that State lost to LSU the way they did, especially having the lead that they had, and then the offense went away, couldn't handle the pressure. I was stunned by that. I think they're going to beat A&M this week, but who knows? It's the SEC. Give me your breakdown.
I think State wins this game. They won last year in College Station. And let's go over two critical factors in college sports. Coach and quarterback. State's got the better of both of them. Mike Leach is a better coach than Jimbo Fisher, and Will Rogers is much better than anything A&M can run out there. Stumbling Max Johnson. I mean, it's almost like he never has his balance.
His dad did. His dad could play two sports and have balance.
He sure could.
That's shocking. All right. That's great stuff. As always, we appreciate it. Listen to more 3 to 6 every day with Gabe and with Stats on Sports Time right here on Sports 56. Thank you, Brett. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave.
I love that. All these games are so good. They really and truly are. Speaking of good, I know as you get older, you want your parents to be in a good place. There's no question about that. And the place is the key. Everybody talks exercise. Sure. And food, got to eat right. Of course you do. But where your parents, your senior citizens live, that is every bit as important, maybe even more. Spending time with friends, having activities. It's all about wellness, and that is what AmeriCare is all about. There's 3 locations, Memphis, Collierville, and Olive Branch. I want to talk about Olive Branch. They have in Olive Branch not just assisted living, but memory care, and they do all the extra things to make sure that your senior is healthy and strong and can keep on doing what they love to do. That's the key. AmeriCare has been around since 1981. It started in Sikeston, Missouri. Now there's 133 places, and right now in Olive Branch, which is at 9684 Goodman Road, it's called Olive Grove Terrace. Again, assisted living and memory care. You can get a move-in special right now at Olive Grove Terrace. Get a hold of those folks. Drop by at 9684 Goodman Road and see what I'm talking about. That's Olive Grove Terrace. And this portion of the show is also brought to you by what the doctor ordered. That's Poppy's Pills. Oh, yeah, that's that refreshing Pilsner, light and crisp. My kids like to say it's ultra crushable for sure. It is made by Grind City right here in Memphis. It's available in 6-packs or in 15 packs. All you got to do is go to your favorite place, ask for it. You'll love it. It's best enjoyed ice cold. It's what the doctor ordered, that great Pilsner from Grind City Brewing. It's called Poppy's Pills. We're back in a minute. Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal on the Tiger basketball team in the IARP. That is next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You need concrete coatings, materials, and supplies in Memphis fast, and you get this answer? Oh, yeah, we got that stuff, I think, but it's in Wisconsin, so you're going to have to wait a few days for delivery. Why wait? Get your concrete coating and supplies now at TSS Supply. Everything that you need for coating concrete at TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road. And you're not dealing with just any supply store. TSS Supply specializes only in concrete coatings, materials, and supplies, all in one place. Most products are delivered same day or within 24 hours. Looking for a particular item, you need large quantities, or just have general questions, call them at 901-729-0565. Or you can email your question to Brad at tsssupply.com. All month in October, TSS Supply is celebrating its grand opening with 10% off your first order. Come by TSS Supply on Wednesday, October 5th for their official grand opening party. Sports 56 will be broadcasting live, plus have free food and prizes. TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road.
Can I get the sales projections for the Springfield, Bristol, and Fairview stores?
Val's Froyo Palace is dishing out 3 more locations.
Jody, have you lined up interviews?
They need 3 new store managers before they have a meltdown.
And remember, they need at least 5 years experience.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Jeff Allen, it's a great day to be happy in a new Kia from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. What you got going on?
Randy, we'd love to make you happy with the all-new 2023 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive. Just $257 per month for 36-month lease and only $29.99 due at signing. Or how about a 2023 Kia Sportage LX front-wheel drive, $287 per month for 36-month lease, $34.99 due at signing.
That's what I'm talking about, Jeff. You got me happy.
And listen, Randy, if you don't see what you want, no problem. We will order exactly the perfect ride for you, and you choose your own bells and whistles.
Plus, equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Seltos P738, 6423, MSRP 25325. Sportage P709, 8842, MSRP 27955. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/2022. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Jason Munz was a busy man yesterday. We had to shift him over because there was a breaking story. It was the decision by the IARP. We've already talked about it a bunch over the last couple of days, but Jason Munz, we haven't chatted with you. Your reaction, 9 o'clock yesterday morning when it was released that Memphis didn't even get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, I was talking about it with somebody just a few minutes ago, and I think a reasonable person would look at all this and say it's even less severe than a slap on the wrist. And when I saw it, I had to go through it. I'll admit I did a double take. If there is such a thing when you're reading a document, a 6-page document, I had to make sure that what I was reading was actually what I was reading, because for so long. And this is the reason why. For so long, it's not that I thought that Memphis should have gotten a stiffer penalty or, whatever. It was because for so long, the NCAA and anything related to the NCAA has not viewed things like this way. And it was just, that was just, it was just very surprising. I'll say it, I'll even go above that. It shocked me that it was not that there was no postseason ban. That much we kind of had already figured out, right? You and I talked about it, and a lot of other people talked about it. I had written a story way back in April where I had talked to some people who know a lot more about this stuff than I do, who said that given the changes over the last 3 years in players' rights and, NIL is now a thing, and the transfer portal, the transfer waiver stuff, all that's a thing. And this whole air of not punishing players for things that they had nothing to do with is very real. And so the fact that they didn't get a postseason ban wasn't really the surprising part. It was that even the fine that Memphis got, $5,000 plus a little bit more.
It's all under $20,000 when it's all said and done.
Yeah, even that, it was, I don't know. It's very, very surprising.
What was maybe the most surprising thing? Was it the nothing, no postseason ban, which we kind of knew, but no loss of scholarships, no suspension on Penny, or was it? Because I didn't know this. The Penny wasn't even aware that James Wiseman was ineligible when he played him in the first game, and that in particular this committee and the one member who came out and basically said it. I mean, didn't basically, he said it, that this was about leadership at Memphis, not about Penny Hardaway. Total vindication of Penny. Was that surprising?
I would say a little bit, yeah, that it was complete and total vindication. That Penny Hardaway was completely 100% absolved in reality, for the whole thing. Like he was completely absolved. Now, the part about laying the blame at the feet of the institution's leadership is the way the way it was phrased, which we all know what that means. Former President David Rudd, and I think I want to say that how the compliance office was run at the time. I think they took that part of it took a big hit, but that was not as surprising to me because like we've been saying all along, at least here at the Commercial Appeal, that this whole thing would not have spun out of control the way that it did if not for the university's leadership. And there was a transition at the time going on with the athletic director, and so it was that part was less surprising to me. I would have expected maybe you lose one scholarship, like just as kind of like almost like a symbolic thing. Like we got to do something that has some actual teeth to it. Like everything that the panel handed down penalty wise is almost completely toothless. You got the $5,000 fine. Okay, so fine. You got the public reprimand. Okay, fine.
What does that mean?
Yeah, like you've got the thing saying that they have to let recruits know before they come on official visits or before they sign a letter of intent that they're on probation for 3 years. Who cares? You've got the fact that they have to put a statement on their website and a statement in their media guide that they're on probation for 3 years. Okay. Like I would none of that's got any real teeth to it. I would have expected at least something. You don't find Penny Hardaway because he didn't do anything wrong, as what they have figured out, is what they've determined. You do something that holds the program accountable, but not directly Penny Hardaway. And I felt like maybe one scholarship would have done the trick, but heck, I mean, yesterday was a massive victory for not only Penny Hardaway, but the university as well.
No doubt. Last thing, we got 1 minute. What do you think the collective damage was from 3 years of shadow on Penny's program? Did it cost national branding? Did that hurt when the Big 12 decided they were going to bring in Cincy, BYU, UCF, and Houston? And what did it do for Penny's recruiting?
Yeah, I don't think that the stuff with the Big 12 in the end, I mean, was it on people's minds maybe as those decisions were being made? Possibly. I don't know that you'll ever get anybody to say that out loud, but maybe. I think the real harm here is that it robbed James Wiseman of his season, his one season of college basketball, and there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that recruiting was negatively affected by the cloud that hung over the program for the last 2+ years, almost 3 years. There's no doubt in my mind. I think that's the real thing here, and maybe that's why some of these penalties weren't harsher. That it's almost like a time served thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they felt like the damage that was done over the last 3 years was enough.
He is Jason Munz. You read him every day in the Commercial Appeal. We'll be reading a lot more of them as basketball practice starts up. Jason, thank you so much. We'll talk to you next Tuesday back in your usual time spot.
Perfect. Thanks, Wolo.
Thank you. That is our guy, Jason. I got a confession to make. I am going to go play Miramichi right now. I'll report back tomorrow what kind of shape it's in, but I can't wait to play the back nine because I like that meandering stream as long as I don't hit any balls in the water. I like playing it at about 6,300, but if you're a really good player, you can play 7,400 yards of championship golf. 330 acres of beauty. Afterwards, I suspect I might have a cold one because it's going to be beautiful outside and not hot at all on that terrace. That place, full-service bar, big screen TVs, and the view that is the best in all of Shelby County, 9 and 18, blue sky, ponds, fountains, just gorgeous. It's the complete package. And I'll attest to it, it's about 20 minutes from right here. It's just 12 minutes from north of downtown in Woodstock, right off 51. Miramichi, the complete golf place to be. That'll do it for us. Johnny, radio's right around the corner. Have a great day, everyone.
I often say they've set